Remakes. It happens to songs, it happens to movies, it happens to any medium and video games. Remakes are, dubbed as, by many gamers as being a cash grab, oh, you're just remaking this like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. Of course, the remake of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker for the GameCube, remakes of like Resident Evil 4 in HD. Of course, Final Fantasy 4 have been remade many times. One on the Game Boy Advance, on the NDS, Nintendo DS, and many others. People say it's a cash grab, and some people say it's worth remaking games because it's actually going to entice the new audience in the classic games that they never played before. It's a double-edged sword. Remakes, whether you like it or not, is going to happen and will happen in the industry. Whether they because in remaking the games, they are sure that there are going to be markets for it. For example, Final Fantasy 4. It's been remade in the Game Boy Advance. It got decent sales, and towards to the Nintendo DS, it also got like a decent sale because their core audiences of Final Fantasy 4, and so was the other games being remade. But there's always the flip side because we're not just crossing one river here; we're crossing two. On the other hand, there are other people who say there are other things, other people who wish to have a remake of a certain game, and this is going to be like an expansion to the article written by Giuseppe Nelva from DualShockers.com in regards to Katsuhiro Harada promising to actually remake Xenosaga and Ace Combat. Ace Combat, that would be really plausible because well, Namco or Bandai Namco really owned Ace Combat. But regards to Xenosaga, that is the problem. That is where the problem sets in. As we know, Monolith Soft, the original game studio that developed Xenosaga, three games, is now majority owned by Nintendo, and that's the problem. Because in order for someone to remake a game, I mean, in this case, Xenosaga, first you have to convince the publisher of the game. Monolith Soft made the game, but Square Enix published the game. That is one of the major problems, one of the big problems of Katsuhiro Harada. And I'm not, it's a kind gesture for Mr. Harada from Mr. Harada to say that, hey, we want to make remake of, we want to remake Xenosaga, the Xenosaga trilogy. Sure, it's a really kind gesture. I'm a fan of Xenosaga, not necessarily a big fan or an avid fan or a hardcore fan. Just a fan. I love Xenosaga, despite that they really didn't achieve what they want to give to the players. It's just weird. But the question is, will Square Enix actually let uh, let, let Bandai Namco to actually acquire the rights for them to publish the game? Okay, okay, let's give it a benefit of the doubt. Sure, let's say that Katsuhiro Harada, and Bandai Namco succeeded in the first one. But the second problem will be how are you going to convince Nintendo, who majority owns Monolith Soft? They're the second party game studio for them now, to remake the game and to be released for under the banner of Bandai Namco. If that didn't pan out, what's come to worse. Do like what Capcom did to Devil May Cry. Remember how we have like Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3, under Capcom, which by that during the time Mr. Hideki Kamiya was spearheading the project, and he left, so Capcom decided, hey, we want to remake Devil May Cry in our own terms. So it happened, and we have the remake of Devil May Cry post Kamiya era. And you know what happened there? It's better for worse. You know, remaking game titles, it's awesome. You know, especially when the game have like rich history. I wish there's a remake of Alundra, but that's not going to happen because Matrix Software primarily don't like to develop games anymore. Sure, you might say Apple and Code, but that didn't pan well as well. That didn't pan really well for them. Well, working for game studios like Square Enix will do, but producing games not so much. I also want a remake of Legend of Legaia or Legend of Dragoon. Legend of Dragoon would be possible because it is actually developed published under Sony. It is possible, but I don't know. It didn't pan out as well during the PSX era. So that is really the problem with the remix. On the good side, people are going to buy it because they got curious because it's a classic game title and they want to see it in the way that the graphics technology being presented, etc., etc. And on the other hand, people are saying that this is a cash grab. It's not going to happen because there are more there are tons of hurdles ahead in order for you to remake a game, especially when you don't even own the rights for the game. That is a problem with regards to Xenosaga. Well, I wish that it's going to have a remake. Sure, I want that, but the question is this: are you going to if Camille was declared as a traitor when he brought Bayonetta to Wii U. You know, in Bayonetta 2 package with Bayonetta, if it's going to come this year or next year, what more will Monolith Software get? You know, the amount of hate that they're going to get. If, hey, Bandai Namco and Katsuhiro Harada and Iwata and Nintendo will have terms on remaking the game. I'm going to be adamant for this because if that is that really panned out really well, I'm sure it's going for Nintendo because let's face it, they own they really own Monolith stuff, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's actually our fault that Monolith Soft was bankrupt and Nintendo picked them up. Sadly, it's our fault. We don't have to blame Nintendo for that. It's just how the business rolls. Anyway, I'm Homer, and you know what? I'm not going to watch Michael Bay's remake of Birds. It's going to be. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Alfred Hitchcock. I'm sorry. Really sorry. See you later.